Hi everyone. We're going to do two last problems with combining two functions and finding the domains. Our first set we're going to do is f of x equals 2x plus 3 over 3x minus 2, and g of x equals 4x over 3x minus 2. And the second one we're going to do is f of x equals the square root of x plus 1, whereas g of x equals 2 over x. And we've got to find four combinations. We have to find f plus g of x, f minus g of x, f times g of x, and f divided by g of x on both of these. Okay, these would be considered the harder ones, and again, the main thing we're looking for is finding the domain. So, the first one we have f plus g of x. So that one is going to be 2x plus 3 over 3x minus 2 plus 4x over 3x minus 2. What's nice about this is we have the same common denominator, so we can put all of this over one denominator. So we get 3x minus 2, and we can just add these. So that's going to be 6x plus 3. And the domain, we want it to be all real numbers, but we have this fraction here. We know that can't equal 0. So when we set this to 0, or not equal to 0, we get x cannot be 2 over 3. So it can be everything, but x cannot be 2 over 3. Now, when we subtract, we're going to get f minus g of x. So that's going to be 2x plus 3 over 3x minus 2 minus 4x over 3x minus 2. And we have the same denominator, so that's nice. And we're going to just subtract. So basically you're subtracting these two. You get negative 2x plus 3. Don't have to worry about the numerator, and it's the same domain because it's the same as before. So x is all real numbers such that x cannot be 2/3, or it's everything but 2/3. Now multiplying, we're going to get, so this is your C part, f times g of x. And so that's going to be 2x plus 3 over 3x minus 2 times 4x over 3x minus 2. Now, I'm going to just distribute the numerator here, and we get 8x squared plus 12x. And for the denominator, I'm just going to not worry about it so much. I'm just going to put 3x minus 2 squared. Because clearly you can see what the domain is better if you leave it in this format. We don't have to worry about the numerator, and it's the same. It's all real numbers. However, x cannot be 2/3. And for the last bit, I think I'll just start a different slide for that. So that's going to be f over g of x. So we get 2x plus 3 over 3x minus 2 over 4x times 3x minus 2. Now, before we get started, right away, before we can cancel things out, we know we can't have, we want it to be all real numbers, but we know that x cannot be 2/3. Okay, or we could not even do this problem. So after this point, though, we can cancel this out, and we get 2x plus 3 over 4x. In this case, we also know that x can't be 0. So we have an additional value that x can't be when you divide. Okay? So that's your domain for that. Next one, we have f of x equals the square root of x plus 1, and g of x equals 2 over x. So we're going to add these, and you're going to get square root of x plus 1 plus 2 over x. So when you look at this, we're going to look at this inside here. We know this has to be greater than 0. So set this to be greater than or equal to 0. So x has to be greater than or equal to negative 1. In this case, x has to be not 0. So the way we're going to write this is the domain is all real numbers such that x has to be greater than or equal to negative 1. And it's anything but once you get higher than negative 1, once we hit 0, it cannot be 0. So this is the easiest way to write that. Okay, for the minus, it's going to be the same thing. I'm just going to squeeze it in here. F minus g of x, and you get the same type thing here. Ooh, why did I put 3? Okay, that's x, excuse me. And basically, this is the same domain. Now let's do the times. So for c, we have f times g of x, and that's going to give us square root of x plus 1 times 2 over x, which is equal to 2. If you simplify that, if you wanted to make it look nicer, it would just be this. So in this case, we still have to worry about this because it is a radical. It's the same domain as before, however, so x is all real numbers. However, x cannot be 0, and x must be greater than or equal to negative 1. And then for the division, we have division f over g of x. So that's going to be square root of x plus 1 divided by 2 over x. And if you simplify this, well, first of all, let's just do the domain first. So it's all real numbers. However, x has to be greater than or equal to negative 1 from this part, and x cannot be 0. Then you simplify this. We can bring this x up here. So that's going to be x times the square root of x plus 1 divided by 2. So if you did the domain based on this, you would have missed this part. It's better to do the domain before you simplify, especially when you are dividing. Okay, that's all. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.